through that darkness, that little peak of light, I stuck my hand through that light and I reached out for my Heavenly Father and I said, God, I am your daughter. Like, I know you gonna hear me. You got
Mhm.
to hear me on this good day. Because it was to that point where,
Yeah.
Lord, if you don't help me, if somebody don't come and get me right now, I'm not gonna make it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to and welcome back. We're the Bentons. I'm Keisha,
And I'm Antonio.
and we're talking about menopause today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 43,
And I'm 45.
and well,
Well, 44.
th-
We'll be 40. She'll be 44 in
a
some
few, a
some
few
couple
weeks,
weeks, and I'll be 45 in a few weeks. So
but like the day after his birthday, he always goes up to the next year, and I don't know, it's a thing he does. Anyway, um, I brought up my age because if you are around this age, you may not know, but you probably should start paying more attention to your cycles because perimenopause or premenopause is probably around the corner if it hasn't hit you already.
mm-hmm.
So we have just been introduced to this whole
New world.
nasty ghetto ratchet thing called perimenopause. So apparently I went into early menopause. So
hmm
you typically start at 45, around 45 to 55, where your estrogen and your progesterone start to decrease. And with that, here's the thing. I'm sure many of y'all did not know this because I did not know this. Estrogen, particularly, is in every single cell of your body.
hmm
Think about that. That means it affects your mind, your bones, everything, everything, because it's in every single cell. So when it decreases, because your eggs are starting to, you're not ovulating as much, your eggs are starting to you're starting to have even less eggs. um the symptoms really start to come on.
hmm
So I noticed first with my cycle, like it was like skipping months and stuff. And then it was like, 1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
And now I haven't had a cycle since like February. And this has by far been the toughest March, April, May, June, 4 months
4 months. Yeah.
that I've experienced probably ever. There was a few days, what was it, last week? When I had all that
Oh
that
no, that
crazy.
was 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
a few days, 2 weeks ago, when I was like, I thought my life was about. I really thought I was not gonna make it. No, I'm not joking. Like
Yeah.
I
She's not joking.
I thought it was a wrap because I went to the doctor. The doctor was like, "Oh, we can't give you anything," and
Mm.
I'm reading all this stuff like, "Okay, I should be able to get some relief." And I'm in the doctor's office like, "Listen, if you don't help me, you got to do something because I can't live like this." It was a lot of the mental stuff. I started to have like these negative thoughts. And if you know me, I am not a negative person. Like I can
No.
find the upside in pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I noticed my thoughts were different. It didn't sound like me. It was just like thoughts about death, not really like that, not like me hurting myself or anything, but it was just these negative thoughts. And it was disrupting because it didn't sound like my normal thoughts. And then it got to a point where um my mood just got really low. um I was just crying all the time. Like I felt so tender. Like if you touch me, I might cry. I was just very, very emotional. And I'm not super emotional.
Not, nope.
I'm not a
She's
cry.
not a crier
I'm
at
not
all.
like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I get, things touch me, but I'm just not, cry.
She's more balanced in that area, with her emotions. She's
Yeah.
more balanced, I would say. You know. Yeah.
But baby,
But them
listen,
2 days.
these 2 days, everything, I just like crying. I just could not stop crying. It was so bad. And my mood I was so depressed. I was just utterly, I could it took me everything to get out of bed. It took me hours to put on my makeup. I mean, like, I know it takes me a long time to get ready already, but I mean, like, oh, like it was a struggle. I just did not have any motivation. I felt so just down. I felt in despair. It was like a heavy blanket was on me that I could not get out of. And so the first day, when Antonio came home, I was, wait, was that the, okay, yeah, the first day he came home, I was in the kitchen. I looked in the mirror and I was like, whoa, I looked really, really bad. The next day, I was, push myself a bit harder, like struggle to get out of bed, got out of bed, put on some makeup. Oh no, no, the first day I didn't put on makeup. First day I was like, this I can't. Second day, it was still a struggle, but I did it. And so when Antonio came home,
Was that the day?
that was the
Let
day.
me tell this story. Let me tell this story.
Okay.
So I came home. So keep in mind, since me and my wife been married, man, she has always been this person. Anything for you, baby. That's man, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Anything for you, baby. Can I have your leftovers? Anything for you, baby. Baby, can I go? Just anything,
I feel like
anything. She
that.
was like, anything for you, baby. And so I went to work, came home, and when when I stepped inside and I saw this look on her face, I knew something was wrong. I wasn't gonna push her and it for answers. I wasn't gonna pressure. I just let hopefully she just gonna snap out of it or whatever. So I came home to cut the grass and I forgot my AirPods at the work. You know what I'm saying? So keep in mind, my wife, she wears her AirPods in her ear like all the time. You know what I'm saying? She keeps those things in her ear. And so I'm getting ready to go cut the grass.
Always learn,
Um,
always listening.
yeah. So I'm getting ready to go cut the grass and I forgot my AirPods at the job. So I was like, "Hey, babe, you think I can wear your AirPods? You think I can borrow your AirPods to go out and cut the grass?" And this look she gave me, I was like, she was like, no, like I was like, hey, babe, I just want to, I'm not gonna be out there that long. Can I, she was like, she was looking, and she was trying to give them to me, but the look on her face, I was like, listen, never mind, we good. You can keep them. You know what I'm saying? And she realized, and she was like, yeah, you can get them, you can get them. I was like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So I found some AirPods somewhere. I mean, no, I found some
Our daughter's headphones.
headphones somewhere and I went out there and cut the grass and I left her alone. But I was laughing to myself outside because I'm like, man, what happened to that anything for you, baby? Keisha, what happened to that person? And I was just like, okay. I never seen that side of her, as a matter of fact. I mean, we only been married a short period of time, but I've never seen that side of her. And I was just like,
Mhm.
whoa, so
October 5th, it'll be a year.
mhm. It'll be a year. But one of the things, I know some men probably watching this
But then you gotta
wondering,
finish telling the story when you came back in, and then you were like, "Huh," you were trying to talk to me,
yeah.
and I was like, "No, no," and I just started crying. We were
Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm
away.
just like, I just figured that I'm just gonna leave her alone for the rest of the day. And man, she was not a happy camper, and I'm saying to myself, I'm praying to God, like, Lord, I don't know who this person is, but send me back my wife. You know what I'm saying? So that night was a tough night. And she ended up
Wait, we
y-
gotta wait. We got this is a really important part. Okay,
yeah.
so he Antonio, he comes back in from cutting the grass, and you try to like comfort me, and you're like, honey, like it's like what is up? Like it's me, and I'm like, just please, like don't. He was trying to embrace me, and I just like I can't, y'all. I'm telling you, you're not yourself, and I felt so like anyway, I just at the moment I didn't want to be touched. I felt like so everything was being taken from me. I don't know who this person is. I don't sound like myself. I don't feel like myself. And now you want my headphones too? What am I supposed I can't have anything. This whole thing is just
I was like, wow.
so I'm crying and he's just like okay. Like, I don't know
Mm,
what that's about, but
yeah.
very like not just loving, but like, okay, I hear you. I will gladly be somewhere else.
Mhm.
And that night, so I was like, I was quiet, I'm typically not quiet. So when I'm quiet, something is going on.
Yeah.
So I was really quiet, just still crying, not crying, crying, just in and out of crying, emotional bursts or whatever. And I finally come in the
Yeah, I was in
bedroom.
the bedroom. I was like, okay, this night is gonna be short. I'm getting in the bed. And she came back and and she apologized and everything. She realized, how she was acting because I've never seen that person, and so she apologized and everything like that, and which I was cool with. And so, that was that night. But
No,
then
wait, wait,
we
wait, wait.
went to what?
No. So so I'm on the bed and I'm telling him I'm like boo-hoo crying. I'm like, I never want my heart to be that way towards you. I couldn't even hardly get that makes me want to cry now. I couldn't even hardly get the words out. I was in a bad way, y'all. And so it was just such a heaviness. And it felt like I couldn't break free of this heavy cloud that was over me. And it was just despair. That's really the only way I can describe it. It was just despair. And I'm like, I can't live like this. Like I'm thinking I can't do it. Like I cannot if I gotta live like this, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
And so I'm sitting on the bed, y'all, and I don't know where this strength came from.
Oh yeah, the prayer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just started going in prayer because I'm
Yes.
like, if there is one thing, if there ain't nothing to do in the natural, oh,
Mhm.
I know where to get my help. But like
Yeah.
I came to myself. I had a moment of clarity. And
Mhm.
when I tell you through that darkness, that little peak of light, I stuck my hand through that light and I reached out for my heavenly father and I said, I was in the what did I say?
Yes.
I said, God, I am your daughter. Like I know you gonna hear me. You got
Yeah.
to hear me on this good day, because it was to that point where,
Yeah.
Lord, if you don't help me, if somebody don't come and get me right now, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah. And the
And
thing about that, we started praying. I started laying hands on her, praying, and we felt the breakthrough. We really felt the breakthrough. And I have this thing where I learned this years ago. And it's like you got to get a spiritual breakthrough first
Mm,
before you get a physical breakthrough. And I really felt like that was the spiritual breakthrough that we needed.
mm.
And the next day, I think we had the doctor's appointment.
um,
Um,
I think we had the daughter's moment before that.
was it before that? Okay, all
Hmm.
right. And then the next day, well, we did something because we went and got something. You got the medications or something the next day. Yeah,
Oh,
you did. You got
oh yeah,
yeah.
okay. So when the
Hmm.
doctor told me that they couldn't give me anything, I emailed her and I'm like, here is the medication that I would like to try. I had did all my Googles, I
Yeah.
was comfortable with it, and I was like, because she had told me like there was no FDA approved progesterone. Because when we'll get to all that later. But anyway, so I emailed her and then she finally responded, which I was very pissed off about that because I felt like she was
You felt like she was
deliberately.
holding back a
Yeah,
little bit.
I do, because I don't think she took my complaints as serious as they were.
Yeah.
So she finally did put in the medication that day. Yeah, we
Hmm.
did. We picked it
Yep. And then, we
up.
picked the medication up and Keisha she was excited about trying the new medication. I was at work, she was talking to me about it all day long, excited about it. And I really felt like she felt bad, about that the day before.
I
And
did.
she just really wasn't herself. And so we got the medication and she, we took the medication and I think it went really well, and she,
Mhm.
turned back into her normal self. You know, but one of the things I want to say too, I know it's gonna.
Can I
No,
say
go
real?
ahead, go ahead.
And it wasn't the I was better that night,
Yeah,
because after we prayed, I felt the presence of the Lord. I felt that heaviness lift off of me. I could feel my body, my mind realigning back to Christ. I could feel pulling down those imaginations, those things that's trying to exalt itself against the word of God. Listen,
Yeah.
we was in battle. We were in
Mhm.
battle. And I started because one of the symptoms, it's not just your mental, it is your my bones started hurting me really bad like a couple months ago. Like literally, if I've been sitting down for a while, when I get up, my feet were starting to hurt so bad. My hands were starting to hurt. I'm like, am I getting arthritis? Am I getting Alzheimer's? Like I literally thought I was. I'm just like, this is nothing's going the way I thought it would go, but everything was hurting. But I felt this tingle come up my leg, because my y'all, it's been rough. But and I just felt the presence of the Lord, and I it was like heaven when I said, I am your daughter. I felt like God was tending to y'all's business, and he heard his daughters cry, and he was like, oh, hold on one second. I got somebody that I need to go check on. And he came and got me
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
we felt his presence in the room.
Definitely
It
felt his
was
presence.
powerful.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
anyway.
no, what I wanted to say is, men, this is, I know we're talking about menopause, and you probably think this is not a conversation for you, but let me tell you, as a husband, I'm gonna read a description of, of menopause, and the first sentence in
Mhm.
this description that I'm about to read. I want you guys to grab a hold of this and run with it. But it says, menopause is something that every woman will go through at some point in their life.
Mhm.
So, if you're men, if you're married, you might be young, might I don't know what age you are, but listen, your woman will go through this at one point in her life. And it said the age of menopause varies based on each woman, but typically a woman will start to experience some of the symptoms of menopause during their mid 40s. Menopause is when a woman's reproductive capabilities come to an end. During menopause, a woman will experience both emotional and physical symptoms. These symptoms are caused by imbalance in hormones. This imbalance in hormones, imbalance of hormones, is called perimenopause,
That's
and
what
can
I'm in.
yes, and can last for up to 2 years before a woman has her final period. For some women, the symptoms will end with menopause, but some women will continue to experience symptoms often. Women seek out hormone therapy in order to help deal with some of the symptoms of menopause. There are many common symptoms of menopause that a woman may experience. These symptoms can be more severe in some women. No matter what, be more severe in some women. No matter what, no one gets away without experiencing some of, if not all, of the symptoms that are listed below. These menopause symptoms can greatly affect a woman's life. Here is more information about 30 menopause symptoms that can affect a
Mhm.
woman's life. And we're just going to talk about maybe 10 of them today. And I'm gonna just name those those
We're
those
not going
for
to go
you.
in depth, but I just we want you all to see how much it affects a woman's life, because
Yeah.
I did not know that this was to come. Like I had no idea that
Hmm.
it affect. I just, some hot flashes. That's the only thing I've ever heard about it. Hot flashes, and maybe, you forget some things from time to time, but I did not think it was this deep.
Hmm.
Nobody talked about this in my family. Nobody, none of the women.
Yeah. And let me say this before we talk about some of these symptoms. You know, I'm very particular when it comes to dating. When people are dating, age really. I always say this: age really matters. Like I said, my wife's she's 44, I'm 45. But being mature enough and having the understanding, that we're getting older. I can understand the things that she's going through. I'm mature enough to understand those things. But just imagine if my wife was 44, married to like a 30-year-old, a 20-year-old. That person would be like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna hear some of these symptoms, and you're gonna be like, these symptoms are some things that are gonna affect your wife's body. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna prevent you from doing some of the things that y'all typically do. Some of the things that men need. We hadn't got to that point yet, and we hadn't
Praise
got
God.
that. Yeah, praise God, we're good on that. But yeah, I think it's very important. One of the things I'm always saying to people is that, I'm always saying this, like, you somebody marry somebody that are too much older than the other person, then that younger person is always trying to catch up to the older person. You know what I'm saying? And that'll never happen. It'll never happen. You know what I'm saying? They'll be going through the stages way before the younger person. So I think it's really important that, if you do marry somebody close to your age, so y'all can go through these stages together. It's things that men, as we get older, it's things that men go through as well. So but my wife, being that we're close in age, she understand those things and give me grace in those areas as well. So it's very, that age thing is very, very important. What you gonna say, babe?
I know we are Christians, we truly are. And I do have a sense of humor. And I'm going to say this. And I don't know if you want to cut it out, we could do
Good,
that. But I was going to say, yeah, thank God my coochie hasn't broken yet. That is
good.
intact. And I pray that it doesn't, I felt like everything else broke,
Yeah.
like literally, it feels like a whole other body. Like oh, the weight gain. You see this pillow? Listen, the weight gain, it comes and it literally is like, I'm gonna attack your midsection. I mean, just one part of me just bloomed, and
Yeah.
and it is very difficult to get off. I'm working out. Okay, so I started working out like 5 days a week because I'm like, this here got to go. Like I can't. It was uncomfortable. I've never been this heavy before in my life, and I'm just not accustomed to carrying this much weight around. I can't hard. You turn into bed and it's like,
Hmm.
I no, thank you. I used to be pretty in shape, and so not saying that I had been in shape, but I definitely did not carry this much weight. And trying to get it off was a pain. Then I learned, because you're older and all of this stuff has been depleted, nothing works the same. So I was exercising 5 days a week and wasn't losing anything. Huh, but here's why, ladies: because you need more time to recover. Your muscles need more time to recover. So the every day wasn't giving my muscles time to do what they needed to do. I went to 3 days a week, and the weight actually started to move. Now it
Hmm.
ain't moving like it used to move, but at
Yeah.
least we're seeing some movement on the scale, and I
Yep.
am thankful for that.
Cause I've been working a butt, boy. I don't be playing hey, listen, my wife will tell you, listen, I'm like, when we're working out, we're not
We
talking, we're
don't
not
laugh,
joking,
we
we don't
don't joke.
laugh, we don't ask questions. You just do what I tell you to do. And man, she's been amazing in that. I've trained people for years, and I've had one other person that actually hung in there and actually saw the results. So, when I started training my wife, I told her how I am. And I was saying to myself, I don't know how long she's gonna last, but man, she's in there. She's getting it. We're working out together, training her in the morning, and we're doing good. So, yeah.
And it's funny. I know how militant he can be about certain things. So I knew if I asked him, because I was like, honey, I want you to train me. And at first, when we first, this was like, I don't know, a while ago, and I was like, we were talking about exercising together. I was like, I don't want to exercise with you because you're gonna be too. But now that I need, like now I'm like,
She was
okay, no,
like,
I need the militant, because I knew he was gonna stay he's gonna be on it. I know my husband, he was gonna that's right up his alley. Like
mm-hmm.
that's that is a perfect job for him. And he does it so well.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna name like 10. We got 10 of these symptoms of menopause, and we're gonna talk a little, talk a little bit. Let Keisha share, her, how she's handling some of these things. So the first one is hot flashes. Let me say this. So with the hot flashes, we got one of these
Mhm.
stashed everywhere. We got one in the car. If you don't know what this is a fan. A little portable fan. So we have these stashed away. We have one in the room. We have
Mhm.
one in the car. She keep
Mhm.
one in her purse.
Mhm.
We keep them on deck. So
Gots to
tell them
have
a
your
little bit.
fan,
Tell them a
girl.
little bit about them hot flashes.
So the hot flashes, it may seem like, oh, it's no big deal. You just get hot a little bit and then it goes away. True, that's what happened. It's like a swell of heat and then it slowly comes down. But they are very disruptive.
Hmm.
They really, you. you have you can't really be doing stuff while you're going through them because they really are disruptive. I can do stuff, but I gotta kind of stop and like, woof, because it's very intense. Now some
Mm,
of them aren't so bad, but pretty much. Then at night,
yes. Which is the next one is night sweats.
night sweats. So
Mhm.
it's like a hot flash with sweat. So you wake up, it wakes you up. You're sleeping, and it wakes you. We gotta tell them about the not sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
So it wakes you up and you're drenched, and then you can't go back to sleep a lot of times, or sometimes you can't go back to sleep, and sometimes it's just harder to go back to sleep. But either way, it is so disruptive. They
Mm,
come anytime, I mean, it just really makes you have to take a beat. I
yeah.
think Beyonce had a hot flash. I saw this video. They're like, people were like, "What's wrong with Beyonce?" If I find the clip, I'll stick it in. I'll put it in. We can see. They're like, she doesn't seem like she's performing as much, and she's like trying to sing, and she's wiping her head, and she looking like, "What the heck is going on?" I'm like, that's probably a hot flash.
Yes, sir.
She probably never had one before because we were around the same
Mhm.
age.
Alright, the next one is imbalanced period. So,
And we talked about
we
that.
talked
So
about that.
that's when your periods, you start. Sometimes they can be, you could be heavier. It's not just a missed period. Sometimes some women actually get heavier periods. So that could be a sign too. It's whatever stops being normal. So if you're around that age, I
Mhm.
say start looking at like late 30s around your period and stuff. Because it can be a heavier period than normal too.
Yeah. So
Oh,
then
and let me just say,
go
so
ahead.
menopause, when you hit menopause, it is one day, it is a day after you have missed your period for 12 months. That's all menopause is. Once you have hit that, you are done. You are pretty much, that is menopause. It's paused forever. You
Mhm.
have no more eggs, so you will not ovulate. Okay, you're just gonna shrivel up and die. Literally, everything just dry. Estrogen keeps everything moist and lubed in your body, not just down there, but all over. And when you start losing that estrogen, it literally is like, okay, there's nothing. I don't have any more life to bring. So
Yeah.
see ya.
But look here, but hey, but men, but that's a good thing for us. You ain't got to worry about, when it comes to sex, you ain't got to worry about, hey, I'm on my period. Nope, none of that's been gone. So we good on we good on that. So the next one is lower sex.
Lower sex
That
drive.
hadn't affected her yet.
Well, I
And
wouldn't
I don't
say.
think it is.
I mean, I can tell it's decreased. I just don't believe in,
I got you.
like, I think when I know my
Holding out.
yeah, I know his I know, so yeah.
She ain't holding out on the brother.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, not to get too in my, but there I know it was a couple of days. He was like, it's been it's like, I was like, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the next one is vaginal dryness.
Yeah, I haven't really experienced that. Not to a level that, I feel like it was kind of like, is it not? I don't think so. But
Yeah.
I don't have any, because there's pain too. Because and we're not talking about, see, we're not talking about like, oh, like your typical, maybe you're a little dry. No, 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 no. From what I've read, it's a dryness that can literally tear the insides.
Ooh.
Yes. I've heard women, they, because their desire obviously is to please their husband, they are like gripping the sheets because it hurt so
Dang.
bad. This is why we want to talk about this, because that is a marriage, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You can't, like, that is a problem. Like, we really need to be having more conversations about this.
Mm. And, we have conversations with some of our friends about this because we some of our friends' wives are going through it, and it's funny me having the conversations with the men, and I'm schooling them because because the thing about it is some women probably going through this in silence. You know what I'm saying? They're not even saying anything. They
Yeah,
just
they probably don't
just
even know what the heck is
they
wrong
probably
with
don't
them.
even know. Yep.
Because if I think back, like, I've noticed the decline in these areas, but I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I just thought age. I'm getting out of the bed and cricket, cricket, like my bones are so crickety. Now
Crack, crack.
they don't even really do that anymore.
Hmm.
Um.
Yep.
So anyway.
So yeah, so men, I'm talking to the men, and I'm schooling. So I'm that type of person that if I learn something or anything, I'm trying to get the information to people, to
Mhm.
educate people on things. So I'm talking to my clients about it and asking them about it, and then they're like, yeah, my wife went through it, da 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 da, So I'm just trying to educate people,
Mhm.
on it. So the next one is mood swings. You
Mhm.
know, with Keisha, I don't really she don't change much. She don't change much. Man, she's typically the same person all the time, and that's a blessing because I'm the type of person that I can't be walking around the house married and walking on eggshells. I,
Mm.
I don't not in my house. Not again. I'm the king of this domain. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And the king ain't gonna be walking around. Walking on eggshells. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? For anybody. So I'm thankful and I'm blessed that if she is having these mood swings, feeling something inside, she's not showing it, on the outside, except for them 2 days.
Oh, and so the other day, was it yesterday? Or I think the day before yesterday. We were talking. So I have my mood. I felt my mood kind of shift,
I remember that.
and I don't know, just some
Felt weird.
felt weird,
Yeah.
like some kind of thoughts, and I was like, let me tell Antonio. So I was like, honey, be in prayer because
Something trying to get on
something trying to
me.
get me. It's trying to get me. Help me, help me.
And one of the things, I truly believe, how women, they're like when they're on their period or whatever, they say, women on their period, they have mood swings and different things like that. But I believe that, as a believer, you have the Holy Spirit inside you. You can take authority over that, women.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, just because they say, oh, you have this, that don't mean you gotta subject yourself to it.
and
I
everybody
believe,
around you.
yeah, I believe that you have the Holy Spirit inside you. The Holy Spirit can fight how you
Amen.
feeling.
Amen.
So with the mood swings, I believe, and I'm very compassionate with Keisha. So
Mhm.
I work with her. I want peace. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I want peace in my home, and the Bible says, how can two walk together lest they agree?
Mm,
And I want to be in agreement with, and everything that she got going on,
mhm.
and be a helper. So yeah. So the next one is fatigue.
Yeah. So it's like I used to be just like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm flying here, I'm doing that, I'm doing this show and that show. So I do like media and stuff like that. And I used to speak around the country on education topics and things like that. I look back now, I'm like, I don't even know how where did that energy come from? Because just thinking about it makes me tired. Now, mind you, this was just like 2 years ago. Like I haven't, I've stopped, obviously since we got married, doing so many things, but my fatigue and just my motivation, it's like, ooh, but my tolerance for nonsense has really decreased. Like my care for what people think has significantly gone down.
Mhm.
Baby, I have no I'm kind. I try to be kind. I
Yeah.
try to be courteous, but I have no time for the games. I really have no it's too much going on. I can't.
Mhm.
I can't.
Yep. So the next one is sleep disorders. Ooh, I got a couple stories about that.
Go
Let,
ahead and
let me
tell
let
them,
me
honey.
say this. So with the sleep disorder, man, I'm telling you, man, I'll be in the bed and I'll wake up and I'm feeling for her over there, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. She's just walking around the room
No,
eating
what about
something.
5 o'clock,
5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. She's walking around the room eating something, going in the bathroom. She's all over the place. I'm like, because I
can't
like
sleep.
to listen. I when I'm in the bed, I want to be in the bed next to my wife. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? I don't even feel right if I'm in the bed and she's not there. So it's times I wake up and I'm like, where the heck is my wife? You know what I'm saying? And she get in the bed maybe like around 5 or 6, and she's sleeping, and I'm getting up, getting ready to go to work. You know what I'm saying? And I just let her sleep. On those
It
days
hasn't
we don't
been
work out.
too
So
too bad. I mean,
yeah,
it's been better since the
yeah.
medications.
Since the
That has
medication, that was
really,
before.
really
Yeah.
helped. So,
Hmm.
oh, we did get some magnesium glycinate.
Hmm.
Now, so the one that I take, it's magnesium glycinate. It has a little melatonin, and it has one other thing in there that helps you sleep. So I was taking two, so I only take one of those, and then I do the progesterone. So my doctor gave me the progesterone, and I do some black cohosh. It's a natural supplement, and that's some other things, but that's my pretty much my nightly routine.
Yeah, a regiment.
That's my regimen.
Yeah. So hair loss, we're good.
Well,
Pretty
I've
much, yeah.
been experiencing a little hair loss. My hair is just not as thin as it was. Even in my eyebrows and my lashes, I can see some thinning. But they say the progesterone is supposed to help with that. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that.
And the last one we'll talk about is lack of concentration. Mm. So lack of concentration. So one of the things I'm like, again, I'm big with grace. I give
Yes.
grace because I always look at things like if the shoe was on the other foot.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? How would I want the person to treat me? So one of the things I've been noticing, my wife forgetting some things or whatever, and I don't. One of the things is my wife, she'll forget some things or whatever, and I just stop. I don't even say anything to her. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, it's all good. But the other day I was like, babe, I let her know that I have been just letting a lot of things slide. You know what I'm saying? That she's been forgetting. But yeah, I've been trying to help her out in that area. So yeah.
Yeah, he has been such a blessing. So if I could just, so women, wives, women, there are things out there. There is hormone replacement
Hmm.
therapy. I know it has gotten a bad rap, but the study that they get that information from was a flawed study. Please go and look at the new information that is out there. I think you can go to menopause.org or the Pause Life with Dr. Mary Haver. She has been on it. This is a doctor who turned her practice into basically a menopause practice because nobody was talking about all of these symptoms. It's gonna blow your mind how much menopause affects your life.
Yeah.
And husbands, men, it prayerfully your wife or your mom or your daughter, who the woman in your life that might be going through this,
Yeah.
she may not know, but if she's around that age and she just starts, things are different, you might be able to show her, babe, maybe we need to go and get your hormones checked, or maybe we need to take you to the doctor because you are around that age where this could be happening. But I don't think a lot of women even recognize all of the symptoms because there is a lot of them, and it may be different from the typical. Maybe it's not. Mine didn't start with hot flashes. The hot flashes just came a little while, maybe maybe like March,
Hmm.
February, something like
Yeah.
that. But I was having these other symptoms like my feet hurting and all that. That was way before.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different symptoms. And so, just the grace and the patience is so important because we don't know what's going on with us either.
Yes.
We feel crazy too. Like you feel like something has taken over your body. And
Hmm.
it's so foreign. You've been doing your thing for 40 years and then like
All of a sudden. Yeah.
gotcha. Like it's just out of the blue. So I really wanted to talk about this to help um married couples,
Yeah.
women, people who maybe you don't have family members that are talking to you about this. I know I did not. My mom basically just experienced, she said, maybe a few little hot flashes. Now I think some of the other symptoms she probably experienced but didn't recognize that that's what it was. But anyway, but none of the women in my family really talks about it. So we wanted to do this to try to help
Yeah,
people.
and for the men that are older, my age, remember we're gonna go through some things as well.
Mm,
Low testosterone,
mm,
erectile dysfunction,
mm,
different things like that, man. So you're gonna need that woman. That same woman that might have went through menopause. You're gonna need that same woman to be patient with you and give you a little grace.
mm.
Again, that's why, like I said, it's very important that you marry somebody or you be with somebody in the same age range. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can relate to each other and be able to help each other, and have grace for each other. So yeah, definitely.
But I do want to also,
Yep.
ladies, work out. Work out early. Do not wait. Listen. Working out is going to help your bones because when you start losing estrogen, your bones start deteriorating. It's tied to your period. So if you, like me, like you're going these 3 months, the longer your period is missed, y'all can fact check me on this, but I think I got this right. The longer your period, the longer in between periods you have, sorry, honey,
Mhm.
the more your bones start to deteriorate, the faster your bones start to deteriorate. Working out helps to keep your bones healthy. It keeps you strong. That's how you hear about, women always breaking their hips. You can die from a hip fracture if you're not in shape.
For sure. Hmm.
Y'all do not want to be, listen, read up on this, educate yourself, get
Yeah.
yourself. I'm going to put links in the description of the websites that have helped me and some videos that have really helped explain this stuff. Hopefully, it will bless you like it has blessed us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We will see you next time.
Love y'all. Have a good
Bye.
day.